call us to order, and I'd like to welcome everybody to our October Optimist Club of Lynchburg meeting recognizing youth leadership for neighborhood excellence. Thank you all very much for coming. This is an exciting opportunity for all of us, for the club in particular. This is new territory. This is a brand new program for this year. We're very excited to be able to recognize youth in our community who are benefiting their families, their neighborhoods, their community centers, and we look forward to hearing more about each and every one of you here today. The Optimist Club of Lynchburg and Optimist International is about recognizing and supporting excellence in youth, rewarding through recognition of youth who have excelled in a variety of areas. And we have a number of programs throughout the year that recognize those youth. In most cases, that tends to be through the school systems, which is, of course, a fantastic way to do it. But it was brought forth to us that perhaps we dip into the communities. Since this is about a sense of community, since what we are looking to put forward is development of leadership qualities in our youth so that they can lead our communities and as a community recognize them, the suggestion from Mr. Bob Wade and Mr. Kent White was to reach into the community centers to identify youth who have exemplified the types of traits that we are looking for when we are recognizing those youth throughout the year. So that has been the birth of this program, and I'd like to recognize both Bob Wade and Kent White for bringing us this fantastic, I mean, look at this reception we have today. Look at the turnout we've had. So with that, I will welcome up the chair of our program. He'll give us a bit more of an overview, introduce our committee members, and talk us through what we're going to be going through today, Mr. Bob Wade.
Well, welcome, and glad to see y'all after several months of planning. I hope you all take a chance to read or look at the posters that the kids have presented. They've done a marvelous job of preparation. The slideshow is great, and it just shows the work that is done at our community centers, and we're real proud of each and every one of them. This is the inaugural Youth Leadership Award for Community Excellence. And as chair, before we hand out the awards, I wanted to share just a brief history of how we got here today. We've always, with the Optimist Club, always sponsored and promoted the positive activities of our youth. But as Jared was saying, it's primarily been school-based activities. This is the first. We went to the executive board about a year ago and presented the idea of how could we maybe recognize some of our youth that worked and volunteer in the community. And our Optimist Club, the executive board, wholeheartedly supported it. And then even while we were having the meeting, one of our own board members, Patrick Prophet, came forth and said, hey, I'll fund this program. And I'd like to, first of all, recognize Pat Prophet for funding this great program. So with that off and running, then Kent White and I then met with the representatives from the two nonprofit centers in the community and the 7 city-funded programs. And when we met with them back in July, they were ecstatic, not only because they could go ahead and recognize some of their youth who were performing at high levels, but it also gave the opportunity for the greater community to see the benefit of the community centers they worked at. So this program was totally supportive of them, and they have come through flying colors. So you can just see all of this is just a small part of what they've done to make this thing work. And then that brings us to today. What a better way to kick off the Youth Leadership Award for Community Excellence, to have the mayor of our great city to come and speak to the youth and help present the awards. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Michael Gillette, Mayor of the City of Lynchburg.
Good afternoon, everybody. When I got the invitation to come today, I knew immediately that I could not say no. And that's not just because the invitation came from Kent, and I would never say no to Kent, but also because this is a wonderful organization. And I want to bring greetings on behalf of City Council, on behalf of the city, and recognize this organization for all that it does for our community, and really to underscore the idea that many of the wonderful things that happen in our community cannot happen without partnerships between local government, nonprofit organizations, our for-profit partners. For instance, today you have a for-profit industry that is underwriting the costs of working with this wonderful organization to honor a very special group of people. So I just want to point out that a community is made up of a lot of different parts, and a community can only succeed when all of those parts are working together. So on behalf of the city, I just want to reach out and say thank you to the Optimist Club generally for all that you do. But I want to make a few comments, if I could, that are a little more specific to the day today. I was sitting at the table just before I was called up, and I even mentioned to some of my table mates, what a wonderful, it was on the back of the program, but what a wonderful set of ideas that are contained in this creed, the Optimist Creed, that of course defines the nature of the Optimist Club. It's all very positive, which of course it should be, right? It's optimistic, okay? So I see where you get your name. It's all very positive, but it's worth pointing out something that is implied by what's here. It's implicit in what's here, but it's not explicit. It's never actually said overtly. It doesn't, there's no word here about the future. And I want to point out that to be optimistic, to really take this sort of creed to heart, requires that we have a vision, not only an understanding of what life is like now, but a vision of what it could be, what it will be. If you're an optimist, you're looking forward. You're not worried about whether or not today is the best possible day that it could be, although you should smile about it anyway. But you're recognizing that tomorrow is going to be a day about which we can smile. And the day after that, and the month after that, and the year after that, and here's what's important about today, the generation after that. Now, there are a couple people in the room here, actually old colleagues of mine, who have since moved on. Scott Garrett is here. Joe Seifert is here. Both of these gentlemen served on city council with me. How long has it been since we've worked together? It's been a term or two since they have moved on to other things. But the three of us could probably stand up here and tell some stories to you about the challenges that we face as a city, the challenges we face also as a state, certainly as a region, and even some of the arguments we've had. And I don't mean argument in an ugly way. I don't mean argument in a bad way. I mean debates about how we should spend the money in our budget and what can we actually afford to get done, and should we do this or should we do that? And we agree on much, but even when we disagree, I can tell you that those of us on city council and anyone who's ever served on a body even like city council will tell you that those debates, those disagreements, those arguments are all predicated, they're all based on the idea that what we're talking about is how we can make our community better. How can we make our community stronger? We may disagree about the details, but I can promise you that there was no one ever on city council and no one on city council now that is worrying about how we could make the past better. There's also no one on city council who sits around and says, how can I make my today better? What we're worried about is, how can we make our tomorrow better? What plan could we put in place that is really going to make Lynchburg a wonderful place to live, work, and play. And here's the kicker. Not just for us, but for our children. It seems passé to say it, and not everybody even likes to hear it. I've even heard some people argue that it's a bad thing to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. At the end of the day, when the arguments are all done, when the budgets are all in place, you know what? It is all about the children. It has to be all about the children because that's our future. And if we don't raise a group of people who are committed to working hard to make the world a better place, then nothing that we do today is going to make any difference. I am optimistic. You know why I'm optimistic? Because of the people in this room, you young people. My fellows on council can attest to the fact that sometimes we've had to make decisions that were hard. And we had to make decisions when things were tough, in the face of adversity. We couldn't just throw in the towel. We couldn't just go home. If we did that, there would be no future. When things are tough, we need to keep our eye on what's coming tomorrow. And we need to plan to make sure that the next generation inherits a good place to live. Overcoming adversity is part of optimism. Optimism doesn't just mean that you smile no matter what hits you, that you think that everything is great. Optimism means that when something bad happens to you, when you are facing difficulty, when you're feeling really weak, when you're feeling unsure, optimism doesn't make you say, "Oh, I love feeling this way." Optimism makes you say, "I can see how I can stop feeling this way. I can see what I can do to make the world a better place. I can see how I can get beyond the adversity, pass through the difficulties, and really end up in a better place tomorrow." The young people who are being honored today, you are our future. You are what matters. But what matters so much about you is that you don't care just about yourselves. You, like the rest of us, are the kinds of people who will help us have a better future. And many of you face adversity in doing it. And instead of being knocked down, instead of being shut off, instead of saying, "How do I feel today?" you are true optimists because you say, with a smile on my face, "I can see a better tomorrow. I'm going to be part of that better tomorrow. And you know what else? I'm going to help other people be part of that better tomorrow so that you, our kids, will have a wonderful Lynchburg. But you know what? Your kids, our grandkids, and their kids, our great-grandkids, they're going to have a phenomenal tomorrow. And it's because of young people like you who work so hard to keep your chin up, to keep your eyes forward, and to make sure that you satisfy every aspect of this optimist creed. So it is a great honor for me to be here today and to share just a few thoughts as to why this is such a wonderful organization and why you, the recipients of today's honors, are such special people. So thank you very much for inviting me, and I look forward to shaking every one of your hands. Thank you.
Mayor Gillette, for coming here today and supporting us, we would like to give you a commemorative Optimist medallion.
Ah, wonderful.
Okay?
Thank you.
And along with it is a copy of the Optimist Creed, so you won't forget it.
I think I'm gonna put it in my wallet and keep it wherever I go.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And if you could maybe
Stand over here.
At this time, I'd like Kent White to come forward, Patrick Prophet, if you'll come forward, please, and Jared Anderson to help give out the awards. At this time, I will ask the recipients to come forward, to come to the podium when their name is called. After Kent and I read the nomination letter, I will ask the winner to introduce the guests that accompanied them. And as Jared said earlier, we'll need a big, loud voice, okay? Now, each recipient today will receive the following. First of all, they'll get a copy of their nomination letter. They'll get the award certificate and the commemorative Optimist medallion that I just gave to Mayor Gillette, and also a $50 gift certificate to Givens Books. So with that, we're going to begin.
Our first honoree is Traquan Trey Tweedy. Got a few words to read about that someone special wrote about you. It is an honor to select Trey Tweedy for the Optimist Club Youth Leader Award for Neighborhood Excellence. I met Trey in the fall of 2014 when he began attending the Diamond Hill Center, and I immediately observed a quiet and reserved young man. As Trey began attending more, I began asking for his assistance with the after-school program. He would read and have the children read to him, as well as assist them in their homework. Trey is never an attention seeker, rather simply a leader. When I asked Trey if he viewed himself as a leader, his response was that there are many leaders out there, and he's not one of them. I was surprised by his statement because I see the traits in him, especially whenever he's around his friends and family. He takes care of matters and commands authority when needed. He is quick to respond and quick to get the work done. Traquan willingly accomplishes all tasks before him. He helps daily with setting up the rooms for the after-school program, assisting other staff with creating craft activities and serving snacks. I also noticed that Trey never left the center until I was ready to leave. He assigned himself the duty as being my security guard. One of Traquan's personality traits is caring for the welfare of others. He does whatever it takes to make sure his friends and families are happy and safe. He takes his relationships seriously. As a youth, it's hard to predict the challenges that life will throw your way, but Traquan has proved that no matter what challenges come, he is prepared to handle it. One of his biggest this year has been dealing with the death of a loved one. He's been a strong supporting factor to his mother and brother, and his mother cannot stop praising him and his brother for their help during their time of crisis. They were a rock of strength she needed during that time. Trey graduated high school this year, and unlike many high school graduates, he did not want the fanfare. He simply wanted his diploma. Earning that was enough for him. When I look at Trey, I see a strong, caring young man that is willing to do whatever it takes to complete and achieve his goals. He is a friend that can be characterized as trustworthy and loyal. He's dependable and brave. He follows through with assignments, is willing to do anything for those he cares about. He is finding his purpose, and he is willing to continue working hard to achieve his short and long-term goals. Trey has shown the characteristics of what a youth leader is, and that therefore qualifies him for this award on behalf of the Diamond Hill Community Center. Sincerely, Beaky Ferguson. So we're going to ask Trey now to introduce the guests that he brought with him.
Today I brought with me my mother, Cynthia Nowlin, and my brother, Zion Tweedy.
Our next winner is not able to be here today. She has decided that she needed to be at school and work on some of her programs, and that in and of itself is laudable. So what we've decided to do is to give her these awards at her community center at a time that works for her. And I think that's very laudable. I will read, however, her nomination letter from Beth Jones. I would like to nominate Ms. Jasmine Ellis to receive the Youth Leadership Award for Neighborhood Excellence for her participation in the after-school program and summer camp programs with the Lynchburg Parks and Recreation Department at the Fairview Center. I started working at the center in May of this year and immediately observed that Jasmine's peers looked to her as a role model and a leader. Jasmine is eager to help, is respectful to center staff and to the children who attend our programs. Jasmine does so with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She has attended after-school programs at Miller Center and Fairview Center for the past 6 years. This summer, she volunteered on a daily basis as a youth leader at the Fairview Discovery Camp. She logged an average 27 volunteer hours per week. Jasmine is currently a freshman at Heritage High School. She received a special honor last year in 8th grade for earning all A's on her report card for all 3 years of middle school. She has earned recognition on the Scholar Roll each reporting period. She works hard to earn those grades, getting started on her homework as soon as she comes into the center, and once again setting an example for others at Fairview. Jasmine also plays on her school basketball team and practices daily to achieve the goal and sharpen her skills on the court. At home, Jasmine is in charge of all the laundry for her family. Okay. As well as keeping her room and bathroom clean. Her immediate goals are to continue her academic and athletic successes in high school and to attend college, possibly pursuing a career in the medical field. I know she will succeed in whatever path she chooses because of her desire to succeed and her strong work ethic and her character. She is exemplary at the Fairview after-school participant and team leader. We all look forward to her smiling face, her positive demeanor, her can-do attitude each day. She is a joy to know and so very deserving of our Community Center Youth Leader Award for Neighborhood Excellence. Thank you, Beth Jones. Our next recipient is Terenzo Hall. Tarika Jones, the neighborhood specialist, writes, I am delighted to write this letter on behalf of Terenzo Hall. Terenzo could be the best candidate for the award. I've known Terenzo for a few years now and have been able to watch him grow and mature into a young, respectful man he is now becoming. There are several children at my center that I could have chosen, but Terenzo stood out the most because of his astonishing personality, his will to help others, his manners, and his great sense of humor. Terenzo is a junior at E.C. Glass High School and has been living in the Darrington community all his life. He has been attending Jefferson Park Center since he was a child. Throughout the community, Terenzo is well known, and here at Jefferson Park Center, he is especially known for his astonishing personality, character, participation, and respect. As soon as he enters the center, Terenzo brightens the room with his delightful smile and sense of humor. Show him that, the delightful smile. He maintains a strong relationship with the staff and his fellow peers. Terenzo has strong leadership abilities and is very driven to be successful, facing any obstacles set in his way. When I asked Terenzo, what impacts do you have on the community of others? He responded, change. I'm growing each and every day, and I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to better myself, he said. If I set better examples, then others will follow me. Which leads me to say that Terenzo exemplifies great character, morals, and leadership. Terenzo plans to attend Liberty University after he completes his high school years and to someday pursue a career in welding. In his spare times, he enjoys playing basketball with his local neighborhood peers and also throwing football. With his strong determination and will, Terenzo will continue to make an impact within the center and amongst his peers. Sincerely, Tarika Grooms. Here is your medallion. And go over here. Now, can you let us know who's with you? Okay.
Who I bought today is
my mother, Dion Andrews, my sister, Taisha Hall, my grandma, Ann Andrews, and my papa, Wendell Andrews, and Miss T, and Miss Coco.
Fantastic.
Our next nominee is Kiera Higginbotham. Antonio Davis Sr., the program director, writes, I am pleased to nominate Kiera as the Jubilee Family Development Center's Community Center Youth Representative. I've known Kiera for a little over a year, and I've watched her grow into a responsible team leader in our summer enrichment programs, as well as our after-school tutoring program. Kiera started off by assisting with food preparation during the summer and took on the added responsibilities of assisting Ms. Kreider with small tasks around the office, monitoring the front desk at the end of the day, and mentoring young girls. Kiera's willingness to take on difficult projects around the center has impressed staff as well as her peers. Kiera projects a warm, cheerful attitude with an infectious smile. I have seen her resolve conflicts and handle difficult situations with remarkable patience and admirable tact. Kiera is always respectful to staff, peers, younger students, and parents. She genuinely loves people, has a desire to make a difference, has both short-term and long-term goals, works hard, and always tries to lift the spirits of those around her. Sounds like an optimist. I believe these characteristics represent well what Jubilee strives to instill in our youth, and I am pleased to nominate Kiera Higginbotham as the Jubilee Center's Community Center Youth Representative.
Today, I brought with me my grandma, Brenda Penn, Sterling Wilder from Jubilee, and Mr. Davis from Jubilee.
Our next recipient is Lakira Johnson. The recipient for the 2015 Optimist Youth Leadership Award for Neighborhood Excellence Award for Miller Center at 301 Grove Street goes to Lakira Johnson. Lakira, or Kira to friends, which means it's Kira to all, has been attending Miller Center since 2009. Waiting in limbo for the past years while Miller Center was closed due to renovations, Kira stayed busy with her head in the books and helping raise her two younger brothers and sisters. Kira is a junior at E.C. Glass High School practicing AB honor roll while taking dual enrollment classes. A proud hilltopper, she shows her school spirit by marching in the color guard. Lynchburg Parks and Recreation created the Young Leader Program, which encourages young adults 13 to 17 years old to volunteer their time and services for professional development. And Kira took full advantage of this opportunity, helping out wherever she could this past school year and summer camp sessions. Duties range from attendance keeping, tutoring, mentoring, counseling. There was never a task that Kira couldn't figure out how to perform and perform efficiently. I personally chose Lakira for this award because of her maturity level. Often I'd come and have to ask Kira, what time did you get here? Kira's response, open. Me? What time you plan on leaving? Her reply, close. Then I make her go take an extended break because she would be so involved and dedicated to her work, she would become oblivious to labor laws and child labor laws at that. But her demonstration that demonstrates her dedication. The average person would have strong areas, which support areas that lack attention, but Kira excels at all obstacles bestowed upon her and is promised a rewarding future. Kira, I personally thank you for your involuntarily inspiring me and others around you. God bless you and good luck. Arthur Sales from the Yokeville Center. Congratulations. And if you could share with who you brought. You got a bunch of folks.
Today I brought my sister, Tiana, and my aunt, Christina Johnson.
Okay. And here is medallion.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Our next honoree is Elijah Pope. I am pleased to write this letter of recommendation to nominate Elijah Pope as this year's Center Youth at the Daniels Hill Neighborhood Center. I have known Elijah for almost 2 years, and in that time I have seen a tremendous growth in his life. Elijah is a gifted student, dedicated helper, and a responsible older sibling, but perhaps more importantly, he is an outstanding citizen. I have seen a very wonderful trait in Elijah: consistency. Elijah is consistent when it comes to home and family and takes the reins of being the older sibling and exemplifying leadership. He not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk. Eli walks in every day with the same positive vibe. He asks how we're doing and if there's anything he can do to help. He enjoys helping the younger children with their homework, playing a game outside with them, or even simply helping Mr. T with cleaning up the center each day. Eli also strives for academic excellence at school, and this year has even added extracurricular activities to his duties by joining the EC Glass course. Elijah can sometimes be a soft-spoken individual. However, his actions always speak louder than words. I have faith that with the drive and courage Elijah possesses, that he will become a catalyst for change and helping others. Elijah may not have grown up with every material thing he wanted. None of us have. But he grew up with the heart of gold that is worth so much more. I highly recommend Elijah Pope as my center youth for this year for his courage to lead and not follow, for his consistency to be selfless and help others, and most importantly, for being an outstanding citizen for other youth to model after. Thank you for your kindness, Elijah Pope, for no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Esau. Sincerely, Tremaine Edwards.
Today, I brought my mother with me, Wendy Johnson, and I met a friend that I haven't seen in a couple of months, Mr. T.
Our next recipient is Trayvon Reeves. When given the task of choosing a candidate for this honorable award, I began to think not only the character traits that the committee members of the Optimist Club wanted us to target, but also of those that I would want to find in my candidate. Several things came to mind: honor and respect, not only for those around them, but also for oneself, maturity, and the ability to handle responsibility. All these things closely matched what myself and our gracious sponsors wanted for this award. They are all things that I knew completed an upstanding person. I began to get excited about the process because I knew I had such wonderful kids at my community center. This was immediately followed by anxiety because I knew that I would only be able to choose one. This person would have to show all the characteristics previously described and more to separate themselves from others. Trayvon Reeves embodies all these characteristics. Trayvon has been a member of the College Hill Community Center for 3 years. Currently, he is enrolled at Dunbar Middle School, where he actively participates on the cross-country team. He is extremely poised and respectful of all. While participating in the after-school and summer programs, Trevon has demonstrated huge qualities on having a positive effect on his peers. When asked what he thought he brought to his community, he responded, "To influence my peers to be better." He definitely is accomplishing this said goal by always encouraging others and always respecting the staff and participants. He is a tremendous help when asked to provide assistance in the setup and breakdown of the center. Trevon is extremely supportive of his 3 younger siblings as well. He exemplifies what a parent would want out of the oldest by helping out daily. He makes sure all the kids make it safely to the center and home, as well as making sure that they make it to their daily football and cheerleading practices. This may at times be very challenging when you're trying to convince siblings that you're the boss for the day. However, I've seen Trey handle each tier, disgruntled opinion, or sibling rivalry with ease. It's clear that his mother as well sees the potential and the maturity level by giving him such large responsibilities. When I asked Trey where he wanted to take his life, he replied that he definitely wanted to go to college. With a large interest in video games and computer technology, he feels that this is one day one of the many avenues he would be interested in pursuing a career in. He also has dreams of one day creating his own highlight video. Trevon is not only a stand-up young man with full potential to be a tremendous attribute to society, but he always has a smile on his face to match his relaxed attitude. His exuberant lust for life leaves me anxious to see not only exactly what the world has to offer him, but what he has and is willing to bring to the world. And that was from Kadrian Jackson. Would you like to share as to who you brought?
Today I brought my mother, Naja Reeves, and my stepdad, Savoya Fuller, actually.
That's it? Great.
Our next honoree is my table mate at lunch, Mariah Sneed. While Mariah is approaching the podium, I want to give some recognition to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Lynchburg. It's their criteria that they were kind enough to share with the Optimist that were used to select these outstanding leaders. So we really appreciate that. Mariah Sneed has been a member of the Boys and Girls Club for over 5 years. She has all the qualities to represent the club in a very positive way. Mariah is not flamboyant. She's not a flamboyant leader. She is what I would consider a salt of the earth leader. Her leadership is done in a quiet, respectful manner. She has always been a great help at the club, working often with our club leaders, preparing snack, and getting other members prepared for the Power Hour program. She also has a great presence in the College Hill community. Her community service includes volunteering with the Lighthouse, cheering on youth at in the neighborhood at football games, and helping us distribute presents to families at the College Hill apartments. She attends Heritage High School, is in the 10th grade, and plans on becoming a police officer. I am pleased to recommend Mariah for the Youth Leadership Award. She is a great role model and citizen. Mark Sheehan, Executive Director.
Today I brought Jamie Oliver.
Our next recipient is Michaela Tanner. The recipient for the 2015 Optimist Youth Leadership Award for Neighborhood Excellence Award, that's a full mouthful, for the Yoder Center, 109 Jackson Street, is 10-year-old Michaela Tanner. Michaela has been attending Yoder Center since 2012. She was born in Lynchburg, and she attends Concord Elementary School. When going over her bio for this accolade, I asked Michaela why she attends Yoder Center, where there are 15-plus after-school programs between Tinbridge, Hill, and Concord. Her reply is, I like it here, the Yoder Center. Now, that is some dedication. In fact, I joked with her and said, I would have to email Mr. Wade to see if the Lynchburg residency was part of the criteria. She replied, that's okay, I'll get my mom to move back to Lynchburg. Monday through Friday, it's all business for her. She maintains her AB honor roll by indulging in her two favorite subjects, math and literature, and helping other students complete their homework during the after-school program. Her Saturdays compose of making homemade pizzas, reading her favorite book, Dork Diaries, brushing up on her latest dance moves. Sunday, she attends Mount Peeler Baptist Church and prepares for her oncoming week. Michaela is very precocious from being the youngest of 5 siblings. Witty, helpful, and spunky are other attributes that describe her. Michaela aspires to be a policewoman, and we will continue to inspire her to achieve her greatest passion, which is helping people. This is evident during snack time, cleanup time, and any other daily center chore we embark. Michaela emits and radiates what is to be the ideal center kid. The funny thing about it, with a birthday of August 8, 2005, she barely made the cutoff point for recognition for this award, which is all the more evident what this means for this young lady. Look, lucky for me, I'm blessed to have 7 more years of working with this natural-born leader. And I thank Miss Kim Tanner for raising such a pleasant person in the manner she has. Arthur Sales from the Yoder Center.
First of all, thank you for this reward. Today I brought my mom, Kim Tanner, and my sister, Kersha Tanner.
That completes our program. It's been a great program. And let's give a final round of applause for all these winners.